Welcome back to Inspiring Big Leaders. Now, being emotionally independent and able to harness your emotions or empower your emotions, I think that's quite important and a key strength of a leader. Don't you agree, Tuan Ismail?
I indeed agree. I will cut you short, Mona. I just want to turn to Dato' immediately. And if I may say, she's one character that come across to me as being emotionally resilient and independent. And I think she has demonstrated that during her tenure in office as Deputy State Secretary. And I think in the recent in the recent drive towards bringing up Okeshi, the old Kuching smart heritage, and of course during the pandemic. So Dato', I'll ask you this question: how do you keep yourself emotionally resilient and independent?
Again, I say I'm humbled by that, but basically it's going back to that core purpose, and also a line of sight. You are very clear into what is your line of sight into getting into that agenda of delivering to the people. So with that, others become a distraction. If you have challenges, meaning it's just a test for a new solutions. Having been able to put yourself into away from that challenges to come up with new solutions is the order of the day. And I believe also many of us are able to do that. And like we are in our conversation now talking about how we bring about a team or the community to come forward with us into, say for example, our initiative of Old Kuching Smart Heritage, because empowering the community takes a lot of effort and a lot of time for hand-holding, but that's the pleasure of doing it. Because to see them come on board, to see them have the aspiration that we desire is the order of the day too. So that becomes, other than that, it's merely distractions, and a lot of optimism into what you're doing, So, and also the fact that you have to understand, I think people are having different perspectives. They're born with different ideas, different perspectives. It's very unique on its own. So everything that we are doing, I believe also there is a chain reaction. There's also action and reaction. So you are bound to have all these elements coming up while you're doing your work. So I believe having a good understanding on all these allows you to be a little bit more patient than others, a little bit more perseverance in what you're trying to do here, That's how I feel about the whole thing. But I believe you guys are the same in your work.
Thank you, Dato'. I will turn to Rajiv now. I think, Rajiv, emotional empowerment is such a strong concept in my view. It has a lot of, I think if I borrow Dato's word, there's a lot of nature and nurturing in it. Now, if I turn to my audience now and look at many emerging leaders in the state, how do we develop amongst our emerging leaders that emotional prowess in them, Rajiv? Is that a valid question to start with?
Oh, very valid question. And, there are two stages to go from dependence to independence. As I said, the middle stage is interdependence. And interdependence, we've already talked about quite a bit, which is that this is where you start with full integrity to look at your values and give yourself a values-based purpose. Now, with that empowerment of values-based purpose, you have become interdependent, meaning your success depends on the world and the world's success depends on you. How do you go to full emotional independence, which is the highest stage? So you've conquered stage one if you already have a true purpose based on values discovered by emotional integrity. How do you go to independence? Now, that last stage is called the mastery stage. And here you have to master three big ideas. One is gratitude. The other is acceptance. And the third is forgiveness. If you can master these three big ideas, gratitude, acceptance, and forgiveness, now you are truly emotionally independent. So, Gratitude basically says, instead of worrying about all the things that you don't have in life, whenever you are feeling depressed, whenever you are feeling upset or angry, just make a list of all the gifts that you have in life, all the things that you are thankful and grateful for. You can repeat this exercise 1,000,000 times whenever you want. Every time you spend 2 minutes doing that, either writing it down or in your mind, you will suddenly feel calm. And now, with that gratitude, say, all right, there are certain things that are not in my control. I have a lot to be grateful for. I will accept the things that I have no control over with equanimity and with grace. And eventually, you have to teach yourself the biggest gift, which is the ability to forgive. Conflict in this world exists because we don't know how to forgive. But if you can put yourself in the other person's shoe and learn to forgive, now what happens is gratitude, acceptance, and forgiveness have become your best friends. Nobody can upset you. Nobody can treat you badly. Because the science of this is very straightforward. If somebody is hurling abuses at you and insulting you, they are not insulting you. Because they have no ability to get inside your brain and create a chemical reaction with your neurons. Only you have the ability to decide what goes on in your brain, and you can decide, no, I will not let this abuse and this insult create havoc in my brain. I choose to forgive. So with these three ideas, gratitude, acceptance, and forgiveness, you rise above, and now only you decide how you feel. Because let's be clear, nobody can decide how you feel unless you let them. So your values-based purpose as a framework, number one, and on top of that, the mastery framework, attitude, acceptance, and forgiveness, and you are now truly independent. You can achieve anything you want.
Yeah. After this, the three of us will go out there feeling better by the day. After hearing to you.
No, I'm smiling behind I'm smiling behind my mask, Rajiv, because I remember the quote by Einstein. Albert Einstein used to say, "The weak will seek revenge. The weak will seek revenge. The strong will seek forgiveness." It's the smart one that will ignore it. So you use your third element as forgiveness. So I think we probably need to square off again with Einstein exactly which one do we follow. But I think I prefer your model of always have the gratitude, you know, be willing to have that gratitude. And I think that forgiveness is a very powerful thing as well. And there is something else that affects me when I listen to that, Rajiv. How do one, you know, sometimes some of this emotional empowerment depends on your upbringing as well. Is there such a thing that we can change that? You know, I mean, I can remember very clearly, you know, emotional empowerment depends, for example, if you're always angry when you react to something, how do you, when you grow as adult, change that in your, you know, when you enter similar situation as an adult? Is that something you can change?
Another misconception about values is that values is something that was imbibed in you by your parents and by society as you were a kid and as you were growing up. So your circumstances, the way you were brought up decides who you are, and that is your personality, and that is static, that cannot change. It is a huge misconception. Again, it comes back to choice. At any point in our life, we can turn around and look back into our life so far and say, okay, these have been my beliefs so far. These are the things that have motivated me so far. Am I happy with the person that I am? Or do I need to change the things I place value on? Do I need to change my attitude towards what the rest of my life is going to be? Do I need to challenge some of the values that were imbibed by me, by my parents and by society? And if you feel like there is compelling reason to do so, you have every power to say, no, I don't value this anymore, I value that more now.
I like that, Rajiv, and I think that comes back, I guess, to emotional integrity that you mentioned about, you talked about earlier. And I think for us to be honest with ourselves, I think that's very painful at some points. And a lot of people probably want to blame their childhood and their past to justify why they are like this today, because they refuse to change, or they maybe don't know how to, or it's just so difficult. So they prefer to say, I was brought up like this. And I think this is a really powerful thing. And as a leader, you need to understand that, because then you can see it in yourself and in others, and you can help them. We're going to go on a short break after this. Just stay tuned. We're going to dive deep. After this, it's going to be really interesting, because it's going to be some self-coaching techniques. So Rajiv is going to tell you about how you can coach yourself before you coach others. So stay tuned. Short break.